Welcome to the Raven Quick Start Guide for macOS. In this video, we will walk you through configuring the hardware and the software for your Ravens. Let's begin. In the box, you'll find the Raven touchscreen, revitalizer spray with microfiber cloth, a power supply, a HDMI cable, a USB cable, a quick start guide, and a software voucher to download the software. To connect the Raven to the computer, first plug in the USB cable, HDMI cable, and power supply into the Raven. Next, take the HDMI cable and plug it directly into the HDMI port of the graphics card. Then, take the USB cable and plug it directly into a USB port of the computer. If using dual Raven and the computer does not have another HDMI port, users will need to purchase a HDMI to mini DisplayPort adapter. This adapter can be used to convert the HDMI to mini DisplayPort, which can be plugged into the Thunderbolt port or the mini DisplayPort of the computer. Connect the HDMI cable into the mini DisplayPort adapter and plug it directly into the computer's graphics card. Then, take the USB cable from the second Raven and plug it directly into the USB port of the computer. If the computer doesn't have enough USB ports, users will need to purchase a USB hub. Do not use an unpowered USB hub, as the touch panel of the Raven is powered completely by the USB bus of the computer. We recommend purchasing a powered USB hub. This will be sure the touch panels have enough power to operate smoothly. To connect the Raven to a computer with Thunderbolt 3, users will need a Thunderbolt 3 USB-C hub to connect the iLok and the keyboards. Take the HDMI and plug it into the HDMI port of the computer, and the USB should go directly into the USB port of the computer. If users have a Thunderbolt 2 interface, they will need to use a Thunderbolt 2 to 3 adapter to connect the interface. If using dual Ravens, users will need to buy an Apple multi-port adapter. Plug the HDMI and USB from the second Raven into the multi-port adapter, and then plug the adapter into a free Thunderbolt 3 port of the computer. To power on the Raven, push the top button on the back right of the Raven panel. If the Raven has power, users will notice a green light on the front. If this light turns orange, that means there is a problem with the connection in the graphics card of the computer. To adjust the contrast and brightness of the Raven, use the menu button on the bottom of the panel and the up or down arrows to navigate the submenus. Now that the Raven is connected and powered on, after the HDMI and the USB cable have been plugged directly into the computer, we're ready to register the software using the passcode card that came in the box. To do this, navigate to my.slateaudio.com and set up an account. Please note, if you already own some Slate Audio products, use those credentials to log in. To set up an account, type in your email address, and password. Now type in your name, country, and zip code. Then hit complete registration. Now in our email, we'll need to confirm our email address. Here's the email here, and we will click here to verify our account. Now let's log in. After being logged in, users will see you can add your product registration code here, but before we do this, we are going to link our iLok account. To do this, click here, type in your iLok user ID, and hit verify. If users don't have an iLok account or iLok ID, go to ilok.com and you can set one up here. Please note, if using an iLok ID that is registered to a different email address, users will need to confirm that email address so the licenses are deposited in the correct account. Hit OK, and now go into the email address of the iLok ID. You'll see the email here, and you'll see the code R02. Copy the code, go back to my.slateaudio, paste the code, and verify. Now that the iLok account has been verified, we can redeem our passcode card and iLok license. So go back into your main page and hit Add Products. Type in your passcode here, hit Submit. Next, users will need to choose the DAW to be registered and activated. Every Raven comes with one DAW license. Now that the products have been added to our account, hit OK and enter the Raven product page. Download the installer. While that's downloading, users will want to activate the iLok license to the machine or dongle. Open up the iLok License Manager software, and in the Available tab, you'll see the Raven license. You can right-click it and choose Activate. Now users can choose whether to activate the license to the machine ID or the iLok. I will go ahead and use the iLok. Now that we've completed activation, it's time to install the software. Navigate to your Downloads tab and install the Raven software. Please note, on Catalina, users will want to right-click and choose Open. When prompted, hit Open again. Next, hit Continue to run the Raven installer and type in your password. Now, the Raven is going to install the Raven software, vControl Pro, and UPDD touch driver. After the Raven software has been installed, users can hit Close, keep the installer, and now go install the UPDD installer. Continue and install and type in your passcode. Users will now notice UPDD has asked for some system preferences. This will allow the driver access to the system. To do this, navigate to the Security and Privacy tab and click the lock. Type in your password, and here, users will want to be sure to hit Allow to allow UPDD access to the system. After allowing UPDD access, we will need to allow UPDD accessibility. So hit the Open Accessibility here, and in here we'll want to check on UPDD and UPDD Commander. While in this Accessibility tab, let's add a few other applications. So hit the plus button, add in the DAW, add in the Raven software, add in Automator, also vControl Pro, and finally Terminal, which is in Utilities, Terminal. Now we can remove these error messages and start using the Commander. Now that the touch driver has finished installation, we are ready to configure the touchscreen. To do this, click the hand icon in the menu bar and hit Identify. Now push and hold on the screen until it turns blue. Users can also check more touch settings if you go into the console, and here we have all of the options, and we can calibrate the screen. Run Calibrate, push and hold all the blue crosses, confirm that touch is working, and exit. Now that we've calibrated the screen, we can confirm touch works in the test app here. And we can confirm it works on the desktop. One finger drag, one finger push and hold is a right click, double tap, and in here, two finger drag will scroll up and down, rotate left to minimize, two finger double tap should open up all your applications.
The Raven dashboard now dynamically checks for hardware compatibility. So if users see any error message here, there may be a problem with the connection. For example, if the Raven USB cable is not plugged in, there will be an error message, touch hardware not detected. Click the question mark to expand and read more about how to fix the issue. Currently, the Raven USB cable is not plugged in, and there is no iLok plugged in. As soon as we plug in the USB cable and the iLok, these error messages will go away. To configure the Raven with Cubase, open up the Raven dashboard, and under General, hit the Open button next to the Cubase icon. This will automatically open Cubase and the Raven toolbars. Now we will need to configure Raven vControl Pro and Cubase so that our transport and faders work. To do this, go to the Studio tab, Studio Setup. Under Remote Devices, hit the Add button and select vControl Pro. For banks, set this to 24 tracks and hit OK. Now, if you hit play, you see the transport of Cubase play. Open the floating mixer. We now have multi-touch control over the Cubase. Next, we'll need to set up a couple more preferences. So, under the Edit tab, select Key Commands, and now, in the drop menu, select the Raven Steinberg key commands and hit OK. Now, all of the batch commands will be mapped to control Cubase. Now, users will notice in their workspaces, they have Raven Project, Mix, and Dual workspace layouts. This makes for easy alignment with the internal mixer and the project mixer. When we hit Project, it selects Workspace 1. When we hit Mix, it selects Workspace 2. Currently, Workspace 2 is not aligned of the red border of the Raven internal mixer, so we will need to align it by clicking the Settings option here, adding in the EQ curves, the channel racks, the channel selector, into the window. Next, we want this white outline to match this red outline. So we drag this window over, drag this up, and up here, set this to 24. Now, update the workspace. Now we can toggle quickly between the project window and the multi-touch internal mixer. You can swipe solos. Finally, be sure to hide all input and output tracks, as the Raven does not work with input and output tracks. If users would like to modify the workspace for the project window, adjust all your settings here, and update the workspace. Now when we switch back from the internal mixer and the mix console back to the project window, it saves those settings. Perhaps we want just the right side to show the meter. Select that, update. Now when we switch back and forth, it's going to retain those settings. Another great feature in Raven 3.6 is the Favorite toolbar. This is a floating palette that saves globally across all layouts. So users can utilize this floating palette to put all of your favorite batch commands in. To configure, hit Customize Toolbar and drop in one of your favorite batch command panels. Hit Customize Toolbar again, save the layout, go to Layout 2, Customize, drag in your favorite batch command, save. Now in Layout 3, you'll notice we have all of those favorite batch commands. So no matter which layout you are on, your favorite batch command panels will be easily accessed on the Favorite toolbar.
The Raven faders are precise, smooth, and reactive with 5 millisecond response time and with support of up to 12 simultaneous multi-touch points on the MTX, up to 6 on the MTI, and up to 10 on the MTI2. When mixing, I don't even have to keep my finger on the fader. It's easy to grab multiple faders from all over the console and control them however you feel comfortable, and you can do this without looking at the screen. On the external mixer, the pans are rotary. On the internal mixer, the pans are linear. The Fine Faders button allows for as little as half dB automation and moves easily because I can quadruple the resolution. To adjust the response of the Fine Faders, push and hold the Fine Faders button on the Raven toolbar and move the slider left to right, 1 being slowest and 20 being fastest. I can bank tracks by swiping on the lower third of the fader plate, using 1 finger to bank 1 track or 2 fingers to bank sets of 24. Note, if there are less than 24 tracks in the direction you're swiping, the Raven will not bank. In addition to gesture banking, we've included banking buttons located on the Raven toolbar that can be toggled between 24 tracks and 1 track at a time. Push and hold either of the banking buttons like so to switch between the 2 variations. The icon palette is designed to encourage visibility and organization. Press and hold the black square beneath the track name on the Raven mixer until the floating icon palette appears. We've included a few tabs of new default icons as well to allow users to upload their own icons for use in their Raven sessions. Details on saving Raven sessions is explained in a later section of this video. To place an icon, touch to select the image and it will highlight yellow. Then either tap the icon space where you'd like to place the image, or swipe across multiple tracks to add the image to more than one as displayed here. To upload an icon to the palette, press the Browse button on the bottom right of the icon palette. Locate the image you wish to upload from the file browser and load it. The image is now located in your User tab on the icon palette. To place it, follow the same procedure as explained previously. Opening and closing plugins in a session is very simple. First, to close a plugin, we've included the Hide Floating Window button on the Raven toolbar that will toggle on and off all last used floating windows. Always use this when closing a plugin, as the close buttons on plugins themselves are too small for touch. We have also included a Close Front Window batch command that will automatically send a mouse click to close the frontmost window. We'll talk more about the batch command system later in this training. With the Raven internal mixer, open a plugin by touching an existing plugin on an insert rack. Now, just reach out and tweak the actual plugin controls. Easily tweak, close, and recall the same as demonstrated previously. Just like your mouse, loading plugins from the menu can also be done with touch the same way. Some menus are small and can be opened with touch or the mouse, to your preference. Use the arrows on the left to open the plugin menus you wish to enter until you've reached your desired plugin. Be sure that the desired plugin is highlighted and double-tap the selection to load the plugin. When tweaking plugins, note that most function by linear adjustment. However, Slate and other developers will offer plugins with multi-touch rotary capability in the near future, such as the Slate Digital Virtual Mix Rack. The Raven external mixer has multi-touch access to the 1 through 8 sends. Touch the Sends button to flip the Raven mixer to the Raven sends. Here I can tweak my multi-touch sends 1 through 8. I can select multiple tracks. I just hit the Shift black modifier button labeled Shift on the Raven toolbar, and then I can select my desired tracks. I can solo or mute a bunch of tracks by swiping my solo or mute buttons. I can even skip a few tracks by moving my finger below the buttons and then continuing to swipe, easily skipping my undesired tracks. On the internal and external mixer, I can change my automation by swiping. I can change one track or multiple tracks to read and/or write. The Raven installer has included custom Raven workspaces for Cubase and NUENDO designed to work in conjunction with your batch commands. Layouts 1 through 3 have been assigned to Project Window batch commands, and layouts 4 through 6 have been assigned to the Mix window. Use Workspace 1 on the Raven toolbar to move to the Cubase project window. Here you can adjust how many Raven toolbar racks you would like visible, and adjust the size of the edit window accordingly. You can also easily align the current window with the racks by using these batch commands: Align Window 1 Rack and Align Window 2 Racks. All of the tools on the top of the Cubase and NUENDO windows are easily accessible on the Raven toolbar. When there are multiple variations of a tool for one button, simply tap multiple times to scroll between types of tools. On the Raven toolbar, we've included the Flip toolbar buttons on the bottom right of the Raven toolbars, which allows users to move between the 3 main toolbars of each layout. To use, I'll hit the Flip toolbar button, which opens a floating menu with my up and down arrows. Now I can use the arrows to move through my toolbars. To close the Flip toolbar mode, you will need to use the Flip toolbar button again to deactivate the floating window. I can use my finger to easily grab regions, fade, move, and I can even use my finger as the pencil tool to draw an automation. I just change the automation to volume and draw. On the Raven toolbar, there's a nav pad designed for the toolbar, as well as a floating nav pad. Both function the same, allowing easy navigation through sessions. On the nav pad, the track zoom toggle is selected. I can quickly zoom in and out of my track with one finger swipe on the nav pad. Simply move up or down, left or right to control the size of the track. To adjust the size of all the tracks in the session, I simply toggle to Track Zoom All by, again, touching the Track Zoom toggle button. Now, with the same up or down, left or right motion, I can control the size of all of my tracks at once. Using my two fingers on the nav pad, I can scroll through the session up or down, left or right. You can also scroll through the session with two fingers anywhere on the edit window, like so. You can also select Scrub or Shuttle. With the desired button selected, just swipe left or right with one finger on the nav pad. When using the nav pad, you are not confined to the rectangular area around it. Activate the nav pad by touching inside the rectangle and then freely move outside of the designated area without lifting your finger from the screen. The nav pad is also capable of adjusting the response specific to the user's preference. Go to Settings on the Raven toolbar and press the nav pad response button. Adjust from 1 through 20, 1 being the slowest response and 20 being the quickest response. We have set the nav pad to default on Natural Movement settings. However, we have now included the option to invert the direction response by toggling to Inverse on the nav pad response window in Raven Settings. The Raven software is completely customizable. Simply hit the Customize Toolbar button on the right of the Raven toolbar, and you'll be able to freely relocate your controls to a custom design, and even save each customization as different layouts by hitting the Save Layout button and selecting a layout number you wish to save to. The layout is now saved to that number and can be quickly recalled at your discretion. You can have up to 8 unique layouts per Raven session and unlimited Raven sessions, allowing you unlimited layout capability. When saving your Cubase or NUENDO session, we've included a touch button on the Raven toolbar that will save your Cubase or NUENDO session information. We've also included a Save Raven Session button. This button saves a .rav lay file anywhere you choose on your computer. A Raven session contains information about what your layouts look like, which windows are displayed, where your floating tools are located, batch command location and contents, and even session icons saved. When making any changes to a layout, it's important to save those changes separate from the full Raven session. After changes have been made to a toolbar on a layout, hit Save Layout, and then overwrite the current one by touching the highlighted layout. You'll see the Save Layout light turn off as a confirmation of its saving. Once your layout is saved, you can save your Raven session. These multicolored and/or gray buttons are batch commands. The batch command system is a series of single buttons that can execute up to 1,000 key commands, menu selections, and mouse clicks. The Raven software comes equipped with over 80 preset batch commands. However, it is also very easy for you to create your own and even share them with other Raven users. In Raven settings, hit the Switch Default Layout button to select between various types of preset default layouts we've created for you that specialize in specific workflows. Blank is as it sounds, an empty layout for you to customize and save from scratch. Basic is the layout that will load when the software is first opened and restored to factory default. Here we've created 4 layouts that provide a basic approach to the batch commands to get you up and running quickly. To program a batch command, push and hold one of the batch command buttons. If empty, the menu will appear blank. However, if you are overwriting a batch command with previous programming, hit the Clear All button in the batch command menu and the button will be ready for programming. To enter a key command, hit the Key Command button on the batch command menu and then enter your desired key command. To the right of the key command on the command line, you can add delay to the key command prior to launch or even add a number of repetitions you would like the command to perform before moving to the next line in the command sequence. Let's make a batch command that will create 5 new mono audio tracks. Hit the key command button and enter Control-Command-Option-A. Repeat this command 5 times by entering a 5 in the space for number of repetitions to the right of the command. Now I'll name the batch command 5 new mono audio tracks and give it a color by touching one. To save this batch command for future use, I hit the Save button. It's now located in my User tab to quickly recall later. To lock in this custom batch command into my Open Batch Command button, simply hit Confirm on the Batch Command menu, and now try touching the batch command and watch it create 5 new audio tracks for you automatically. In the Batch Command menu, you can also access preset batch commands as well as the custom batch commands you've saved. Touch the QuickList button to open access to preset menu item and mouse-click items to program into your command line. Let's create a batch command that will add a plugin chain of any plugins I want. Press and hold the batch command, and if it has programming in it, hit Clear All. Now let's hit QuickList and search for Vintage Compressor. Now, highlight Add Vintage Compressor Insert 1 project window, and hit the Select button on the bottom of the QuickList window. Now search RoomWorks, highlight Add RoomWorks Next Insert, and hit the Select button on the bottom of the QuickList window. Now let's name it Custom Plugin Chain, give it a color, and hit Confirm. Now let's put it into action. Select the track you wish to add to the plugin chain and hit the newly created custom batch command and watch it do the work for you. We've created tons of great preset batch commands across your layouts, and I've also shown you how to customize your own batch commands using key commands and QuickList items. Another really powerful feature to the batch command system is the ability to record your own custom mouse clicks. Push and hold a batch command to open the batch command system programming menu. Now we'll hit the record button and watch the batch command system record your mouse clicks and key commands in the sequence you perform them. Once completed, hit the record button again and name your new batch command. This will save to your User Recordings tab for later use as well. Now I'll just add my new recording into the batch command line, give the button a name and color, and hit Confirm. Now, watch my new custom recorded batch command perform a key command and mouse click. Not only can you save custom batch command scripts, but you can also save entire batch command panels to easily relocate them across your layouts. Push and hold the batch command panel's label until a dialog window appears. Here you can name and color code your batch command panel, and save them to your QuickList by hitting Save. Hitting Save will locate your saved batch command panel to the QuickList here. You can see the name and size of the saved batch command panels here. To add a saved batch command panel to an empty batch command panel, press and hold the label area of the batch command panel until the dialog window appears and hit QuickList. Search and select the batch command panel you wish to load and confirm the size of the panel matches the QuickList item selected by reviewing the size column. Once confirmed, hit Select. Now, just name your batch command panel and give it a color. Then hit Confirm. Importing a batch command is simple. In the Batch Command System menu, hit QuickList and select the User tab from the top. Now, hit the Load button and locate the .ravbc file on your computer. Select the file, and Raven will import the file into the User tab. Exporting is similar. From your User tab, select one of your saved batch commands and hit Export. This will save the file to your desired location and can now be shared with other Raven users. To go through our batch command basic training for Cubase and NUENDO, click here. For a comprehensive coverage of the basic preset layout, please review the user manual and videos located in Raven Settings here. In addition to the Raven toolbars, we've also included 2 fully customizable floating tool palettes. The first of the 2 is called the Floating Toolbar, and the other is called the Essentials palette. Both are designed for adding a select group of tools for managing screen real estate. I can add tools by, again, customizing my toolbar. When the tools are arranged on one or both of my floating tool palettes to my preference, I hit Customize Toolbar again, and my layout has been saved. I can then toggle them on and off by hitting the Floating Toolbar Essentials buttons on the Raven toolbar. The Floating Mixer is your direct access to multi-touch faders and pans in the project window. The Floating Mixer offers the same capabilities as the Raven External Mixer, including the ability to swipe automation, solos, and mutes, and even adjust the size of the window itself by hitting the Addition and Subtraction buttons on the top left of the Floating Mixer. I can even gain access to my multi-touch rotary pan knobs by hitting the Pan button on the top left of the Floating Mixer to toggle between automation and pans. The Raven software allows users to easily use multiple DAWs separately with their Raven. Currently, Raven is available for Pro Tools, Logic Pro X, Studio One 3, Ableton Live, Cubase, NUENDO, and Digital Performer for OS X. To purchase an additional DAW support, visit slatemt.com and click Raven Software from the Downloads dropdown. There is a Buy Now button at the bottom of the page that allows you to purchase an additional DAW passcode that you can then register and receive an iLock authorization code. Then, once purchased, you can switch between DAWs by going to Raven Settings and hit the Switch Raven button. Navigate to your desired DAW in the Raven drop-down menu and select it. Close the old DAW and open the new DAW. Then hit OK on the Raven DAW launch menu. The Raven software requires the following minimum computer requirements to function properly. Raven will not work on operating systems earlier than 10.7 OS X Lion. Mac Pro. On the MTX and MTI, we recommend computers produced after 2010 with a minimum of 2.3 GHz of processing power. A graphics card with a minimum of 512 MB of VRAM, such as the Intel HD 4000, and at least 4 GB of RAM. However, 8 GB of RAM is recommended. MacBook Pro and Mac Mini. On the MTX and MTI, we recommend a computer produced after 2010 with an i7 processor operating at a minimum of 2.3 GHz processing power. A graphics card with a minimum of 512 MB of VRAM, such as the NVIDIA GeForce GT 330M, and at least 4 GB of RAM. However, 8 GB of RAM is recommended. We are available for you to answer questions or comments Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via our online support help desk, slatesupport.com. From all of us here at Slate, thank you for your attention, and welcome to the future of studio control.